Welcome to this week's Weather Impact. I'm meteorologist Matt Willoughby, and this week we're breaking out how to identify different types of clouds. Of course, we know there are tons of different clouds, but it's always easy to tell, okay, that's a cirrus cloud, but sometimes some clouds are a bit harder to understand due to the complex atmosphere we have. So to break it down for you, a basic way to break down what type of clouds are which, well, we could break it down by heights, even different types as well. And one of those heights is one of the higher clouds we typically see is cirrus clouds, those cirrocumulus clouds, and cirrostratus clouds. I know those words can be a little confusing at times. Typically, those clouds at this height are typically those ice crystals that we do see, so those wispy looking clouds. But we break it down to the mid area, those altocumulus clouds. Sometimes you can see multiple clouds into the distance that kind of look like animal scales a little bit. And this is the same case for those altostratus clouds as well. But we break it down to the lower ones. This is typically when you see that low cloud deck of clouds, which is the stratus clouds and the stratocumulus clouds. And have you ever seen Toy Story? Those cumulus clouds, typically the ones where the nice fluffy ones that you see. But some of those more serious clouds, well, we do have the nimbostratus clouds. Those are associated with severe weather and strong storms. And one of the most famous and popular ones, that cumulonimbus cloud. That is typically the one where it's most associated with strong storms, severe storms, and even thunderstorms. That can range from anywhere down to 5,000 feet all the way up into 4,000, 40,000, even 50,000 feet. And that's one of the most common clouds we typically see associated with strong storms. So one of the typical clouds we did see this past week was a shelf cloud. Here's what was a look at our downtown Toledo time lapse that we did see this past week of the shelf cloud rolling in. You can see those dark clouds in the distance and the rain right behind it. It made its way throughout the Toledo metro this past week, and you can tell that shape of clouds, complete shelf wall of clouds out there, and it was a spectacular sight to see. But just behind it did become those rain showers. So just in front of you, you see that wall of clouds and it looks like a shelf, but behind it, you do start to see those rain showers coming. You can see those raindrops on our downtown Skycam as we went throughout this past week. This was associated with a line of storms that did roll through the Toledo metro this past week. Now, a shelf cloud explained. You see it right now. You see that horizon pretty much covers the entire horizon. And just out in front of it, you see those gusty winds as that storm rolls in. But horizon clouds pretty much covers the entire horizon. And back behind it, does follow some steady rain showers after those winds do roll through. Another amazing view we saw this past week was out in Findlay of it. You can see just covering the entire horizon out there, and thanks to Kim for sending this in. Some of those other clouds, though, that we did talk about, the altocumulus clouds, typically you can resemble this to scales similar to an animal, and you'll see the altitude anywhere from 7,000 feet to 8,000 feet. Now, one of the more serious clouds we like to talk about, we're going to start this off with the water spout. Not necessarily on land, but if you're out boating or anything on Lake Erie, this is where you can see those water spouts. Usually it's that rotating column of air and water, and it is, in fact, likely to contact with the water. Sometimes they don't necessarily contact with water, but if they do, yeah, you want to make sure you are safe out on that water. Another thing kind of similar to that is the funnel cloud. This is associated likely with severe weather, and this was just a couple of months ago north of Cary. Thank you, Dylan, for sending this in, and this likely can be associated with severe weather. So when we talk about land spouts and tornadoes, this is one of the key parts that we talk about. A supercell tornado, this will look like a strong rotating updraft, and this is one of the more powerful tornadoes and more dangerous tornadoes we'll see. But of course, you have the land spout tornado. Anytime you mention tornado, you always want to be safe. But one of those clouds you'll see is a non-supercell thunderstorm. It'll look a little weaker, a little smaller, and a weaker rotation of the surface. But either way you look at it, either of those can be a dangerous cause as you go throughout the many severe months that we do see. Now, a fun part of this is we all asked our meteorologists and a great weather team, what is their favorite type of cloud? Well, we got Kaylee. She said her favorite cloud was the momentous cloud. And Ryan, the cumulus pilus cloud for Ryan. And of course, John, the asperatus cloud. And mine's the lenticular cloud, typically, tops above those mountains. And of course, Chris, we do have that shelf cloud that we did see this past week. So those clouds, always fun to see them and just a fascinating sight. But of course, it's always familiar, and that was always most important to tell which clouds are which in order for you to stay safe as we go throughout those severe months and even the summer months as well. I'm meteorologist Matt Willoughby. Thanks for watching this week's Weather Impact.